guys.
First off, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for coming.
Welcome to
Thank
Colorado.
Thank you so much.
I saw your live video last night, and how's the hydration going for you?
Drinking a lot of water.
Good
Just
man.
got done working out at the gym. I said I wasn't going to do cardio, but I had to bring my gloves and mitts and, have Faunt do some stuff and
There you go.
have them hold some gloves. So every time I've been here, knock on wood,
Yeah, skydiving, right? As I saw
over
it.
the wind tunnels, Sky Venture and all. I used to come up here all the time. Lone Tree.
Okay.
And probably about 3 years ago, I was going to open one of the first Rising Sun karate schools out here. I was going to move out here because I just love Colorado Springs. It's like, it's one of those things we're going to move out here and have fun, but, it's so hot in Texas that we just love it there. Just can't get enough heat over there,
That's awesome.
so, yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome.
And then now, so, I understand there's little cons here and there, but the first Comic-Con, what's up, buddy?
How are you?
There you go.
All right, man.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you too. Steve's first Comic-Con here in Colorado Springs. The big Comic-Cons.
Yep.
The high caliber ones that I love. So we were just talking about being here and talked about our workouts. So Tom worked out a little bit today.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
Staying hydrated. Asked about my altitude sickness. So
Oh.
staying hydrated, taking altitude medicine, and But hey, when you got gloves and mitts, and this guy said, "Come on, one more round," and if I get sick, it's his fault.
Oh, there you go. You think about hitting up that incline sometime?
Huh?
Think about hitting up the incline at Manitou Springs?
Man, I don't know.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing is brutal. It's brutal.
It's like 0.8 miles. The girl on the plane told me about that. It's 0.8 miles almost straight up. You have to
Exactly.
almost crawl at times.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's intense.
I was
anywhere in the city.
Really?
I was crawling here with nothing. I got altitude sickness, man. I went to the hospital. It was like, they think it's like food poisoning, similar things, but all the IVs and oxygen, I'm fine, so. But I'll be crawling there before I even start.
It's good O2 training.
I'm sure he can get up there. He's been doing some major sprints today, so.
There you go.
Won't be an issue for the Jasons, guys, okay? Won't be an issue for the Jasons.
Very cool.
So speaking of training, just kind of delve in. Back a couple years ago, you offered to fight CM Punk. Is there any chance we're going to see you in the ring again?
Man, I don't know about that. That whole thing was, we got it all set up, then I got my manager set it up, and then there was injuries, and then, he pulled out. But the UFC has a lot of money invested into him right now.
Yeah.
And they did that reality show, and so I think they're forcing him to fight September, 9th and 10th, or September 10th, or whatever it is. I'll be at a Comic-Con, but Joe Silva lives up there, and I went to Joe Silva's house before this all happened, and Joe Silva thought it was a great matchup. But you have to understand, he's the star of that fight, so he wants to pick someone, which Mickey Gill, I think, is just going to kill him, the wrong pick. But, he just doesn't,
What does he fight at?
170. So I have a project anyway right now that I'm filming in September for 210, so it just would have been either go down to 170 or I just gained 15 pounds, so it's hard. I would have, it would have been a good deal, but UFC was concerned about how much money I'm going to ask, and they didn't want to pay too high caliber, so I was like, I'll just fight him for nothing, like literally just for the social media, just for the YouTube.
That'd be awesome to see right there.
Yeah, but we'll see how he does.
You gonna root for him in 203? In UFC 203?
No, I'm not rooting for CM Punk.
You want him down? Do you want him knocked out or tapped out?
I want him knocked out. Mickey Gill, I'm all team Mickey.
Team Mickey.
Hashtag.
Yeah, hashtag.
There you go. Well, what kind of, just curious with MMA and everything, what's your favorite fight style that you like to use?
Fight style?
More boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
I like boxing. We did some boxing today. Font's pretty good at boxing. Hands. I like the hand. But ultimately kicks. It's my favorite. Always wanted to knock someone out with a kick, and it just never happened in my fights. It was more submissions, and I was like, darn it. I just wanted to kick someone in the head, knock him out in slow-mo.
You want to go to like the Anderson Silva, just right in the front of the face, knock the guy out, down?
Not the broken leg, but yeah, the other Anderson Silva.
Oh,
Yeah.
The other
Yeah, not that one.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
Did you guys? I know you guys you're the age group, but did you guys watch Super Megaforce to see the?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we did it, we thought that they should have broke it up a lot more than
Just
than
one.
happened. But was just one episode. It was kind of scattered everywhere. You know, it was cool because he had his thing and I had my thing, but they really could have made something really good out of it. You know, the Mega War and stuff. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I worked with him on Forever Red, and then we went back to Super Megaforce, and you know, he fits in spandex still, which is great. It's like perfect, you know.
It's very cool that you brought that up because that's actually got my daughter into knowing who you are. Because
Yeah.
I told, because she saw you, she's like, White Ranger?
In the Megaforce one?
Yeah, the Super Megaforce, and she's 6. And I was like, you know, that was my idol when I was a kid. She's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, so thank goodness for Netflix. We went to the old school Power Rangers, and she was like, and her mouth just dropped.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. I was like, thank goodness you all came together in the Mega War.
Man, there's a lot of different storylines with Jason's storyline. How would you sum up your season, like overall season?
The Time Force season?
Yeah, just kind of like how would you sum it up, like in a few words about what that's about, kind of.
Yeah, you know, they just were really strong in character development that year. So they really took their time with the storylines, and the storylines had a lot of depth and almost age to it. They said it had it was the closest thing they got to like nighttime TV
Okay.
on our season. I mean, the Red Ranger dies in episode 1, you know, so that was pretty crazy to have that go down.
I remember seeing it. It was definitely different acting, not just different acting, but like I guess that's what it was, more depth to the for an actor.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
He was on that.
And they brought in some great. I mean, Edward Albert played my dad. And, you know, he passed away, but he was up for an Academy Award, right?
Yeah.
With Butterflies Are For You, Goldie Hawn, and Vernon Wells has been a mainstream bad guy for decades in Hollywood. You know.
Yes,
so
has that role.
They did really good. Yeah, they did really good.
And it's crazy how all these people like Bryan Cranston, who did voices on Power Rangers, now playing Zordon in their new movie. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Like, there's such a small world, and the Comic-Con is such a small world too. That we were talking earlier. It like we're talking about Faunt's character in Time Season. Like, you know, it takes time for the fans groups to be like with the Mighty Morphin, and now they're starting to get into like the Zeo, the Diner, Dino Thunder, and it takes time for it to grow where it surpasses each season. You
Yeah.
know? And just to see that grow and get bigger and see the people that are, you know, doing the Comic-Cons and showing love to the fans is the ones that's gonna captivate the audience. You know, I mean, that's how it was when Faunt, when I did Forever Red. I didn't know half the people there, but I knew him, and you know, and then I met Dan. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Then I started watching their season, had a lot more depth into the acting. You know, some seasons were okay, some seasons, you know, and with the movie now, with the reboot, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be great. You know, Elizabeth Banks,
Oh, yeah.
Rita, Bryan Cranston, all the other Rangers. It was good, you know, good casting pick. But you have to remember it's a re-envision and the reboot. And so we get really picky on stuff.
Yeah.
And we were saying
We
here.
talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying how picky we get. Like, you know, we watch a movie and we're like picking things apart that cost like, well, I don't like that shot. It's like, well, you guys can't duplicate that shot, even half of what they can, you know? So we're really picky on what we expect to see. And it's getting grander and grander and grander. And it's scary.
Yeah.
Unless you go to straight
Yeah.
acting, like an acting-driven movie. You know what I mean? Unless you can compete with all this. The Power Ranger movie put 160 million into it. So
That much?
160 million.
Ooh.
And I saw some of it. It looks good. Looks really good.
Well, quick one here, Mr. Frank. If for the new Power Ranger movie that's coming out right now, since we haven't seen any Green or any White Ranger, who would you like to see to portray your role as what you did? What actor would you like to see to represent you in the new, if they do bring them in?
See, man, I don't know. Like, I've been asked that question, you know? I think I'm a fan of new development. I'm a fan of, like, giving a new actor a really good chance at it. I'm like, you know, some stuff I'm working on, you know, with Bat in the Sun is some stuff that they're working on, which is we're announcing New York Comic Con, and stuff that hasn't been done before. So I'm not like I'm not really leaning to be like, oh, I want this actor, or to Taylor Lautner, or you know, whatever else, you know. But I'm more like finding someone. Like, I came to the show, like I didn't have really anything under my belt. I had the passion, I had the drive, I did the karate, and I just think that's what they need. I'm not necessarily think they need big names for some of those actors, right?
For sure.
I mean, who do you? I get asked that all the time, and I have no clue.
Yeah, I think it's better because it starts to take away. You start going like, oh, well, for your example, there's Taylor Lautner as the Green Ranger. It's just, you know, I always think that's bad when they hire too big of names for stuff. It kind of takes away from the storyline. So you're just focusing on what's going on. maybe bringing Elizabeth Banks is fine because she's an ancillary character, a bad guy. But
Build
when you
it
have the
up
other
around
Rangers,
them,
yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I like having no names, so you focus more on the story and
Yeah.
less about that.
Good passion, people that will take the job, not just for the paycheck of saying, because I talk about a lot, and I read this big article how Hollywood's not hiring him anymore because he did this action movie for $35 million. He demanded $5 million. It only made $28 million, and they're saying like how he just won't be hired no more.
Wow.
Well, sometimes it's great to see an actor or someone to say, hey man, like Jason's like come to Colorado. Yeah, cool, I'm there. Like no questions. No, like, what am I getting paid? What do I got to do? I only want to do one media stuff. He knows. He's like, I'm just here. Cool. This is what we're going to do. So that it's good to work with people like that.
Yeah.
And it's, it's frustrating to work on set anywhere where you have someone that's just money driven. Someone wants to go home. It's hard work. We have our little, things, but then we're labeled as an actor. Like, you guys might go up and be like, man, the sandwich is cold, man. I've been working all day. It's okay for you. But if we come up, man, the sandwich is cold. Oh, prima donna actor. Can't eat a cold sandwich, Oh, God forbid, So it comes with a label. But we have our things. But other than that, hard workers and, Faunt's doing some stuff. And every time I work with them, we worked on Bat in the Sun with Black Unicorn, Taze Cat, and Operation Black Unicorn, which will be next year. We'll be filming. But when he came on board, I just thought of him. Just because I was like, I know he's a hard worker and he's not here for any other reason. Money will always follow your passion. You guys are passionate about what you do, it's going to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of the movies, fans, they love cameos. Are we going to see either of you guys?
Well,
Reboot?
the whole movie script, man, everything's like super secret lockdown on the Saban thing, I think the best thing is that we'll just all have to wait and see until 2017.
Not that far.
Fair enough.
I know it's not that far.
No.
Because you just never know what happens with franchise. You never know what they can do, So we have a huge fan base, and we'll see what happens. But
Plus, if we told you we'd have to kill you, and that would be awkward for everyone.
That's true.
yes,
But it'd be a cool way to die.
lock the door.
Lock the doors.
Seal it.
Get all your camera cars. Like, no, you can't take that camera card. It's live.
Yeah.
No. Darn you, Periscope. Yes.
So going back a little bit more, you did Piper, so we got video games, anything like that, or different than that in the future? Are you, either one of you even thinking of getting involved in some video games or anything?
What have you, you've done voices or you've done other stuff, right?
Yeah, I just spent 3 weeks in Japan filming the next installment of Resident Evil.
Oh,
for
cool.
Resident Evil Vendetta.
Yeah.
So I was out there at the end of January, and I did Leon Kennedy for Resident Evil 6, and I'll reprise that role again for the movie.
Favorite character. There you go.
Yeah.
Leon's got
that
Kennedy.
was cool. It was cool to come back and do Leon again. It was cool to do it in Japan. And we were out there for almost 3 weeks.
Wow. That's cool. So you'll be doing the caption motion again and doing all. So how is that being a caption motion actor? Just you don't see him, but you're portraying as him, but you can't see what you do until the post work.
You know what? The way they do it, they have these huge monitors up there, and I'll start releasing footage as Capcom will let us do it.
Yeah.
But it's cool because you get to see they're replaying it. You can see it as it goes.
Oh.
And towards the end, they were starting to formulate your face around those balls that you wear. So it was pretty cool the way that they do that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I did motion caption one time I wish I could find it for some way back then. Like when it was like, hey, we got this new thing, it's called motion cap,
Yeah.
Like, when you saw a microwave, like, what the heck is this thing, man? It's like you have to explain what that is. I did it, and I had all those little balls all over me, and then we did this little video game, and then they it wasn't a video game, it was just like this character, but yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. It was but it's pretty crazy. But yeah, for me, I've just been so busy, man. I'm filming, My Morphin' Life season 4, which we're almost done with that. Probably back to YouTube on season 4, just because we got, it's just more of a social media platform until, a company says, hey, network, let's pick it up and do it the good way. But I'm not necessarily reality is what I like to do, because it just gets annoying sometimes. You get rolling cameras, and I only show the good stuff. It's like, Tammy, everyone like, well, you should be rolling cameras now. I'm like, well, we're not. Cut the cameras. I get to control my footage, you know, and the networks that you can't control it. But been doing a lot of that. Talked to a couple voice actors about doing some different anime stuff like that, like Chris and Sean, all those voices, and Johnny Bosch and all those guys. But it's just a whole different world, and it's going to take a lot of time. I've been traveling so much and doing so many cons, and then I'm filming 2 projects right now that we'll announce. So I'm just kind of, you know, out there. And my biggest thing right now is to make sure I'm loyal to the fans, building a good fan base. And I tell Faunt too, he's always out there, and he's always so good to his fans. And you know, and since we did Super Megaforce together, and Forever Red together, we've kind of known each other for a while, even though we didn't specifically work on that season, but we've known each other for a long time now, which is cool. You know, it's good to work with people that I enjoy working with. You know, it's just one of those things. So.
Very cool.
Speaking personally, one of the most surprising and exciting entertainment experiences I've had in the last couple of years, surfing through YouTube, and suddenly found the White Ranger versus Scorpion.
Yeah.
Could you share a bit of how that came together? Because like my 6-year-old self did a little backflip when I saw
Yeah.
How?
Well, man, I tell you, I have a very basic philosophy. A lot of actors say, hey, you know, we don't know which one is the interview. We don't know who's who, and I just say treat them all equal. It doesn't matter. You can have one person with one fan that can end up to be millions. It doesn't matter. Like my students are treated equal. All the interviews are treated equal. You don't give extra. Oh, because you have a nice oh, this one's that 7D. Let's give him a special thing. Oh, that guy's on every record. You know, iPhone. You know, so we treat everything equal. So when Aaron came around, it was one of those things where I saw a little graphic. And it was the White Ranger versus Scorpion. No clue what the Bat in the Sun was. And Aaron's like, yeah, you know, he was a fan. And he didn't tell me at the time. He's like, I really like help with this. I said, I got you, man. Whatever you need, I'll help you. And he's like, cool. Did you see my work? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll get to it, man. Once, like we're talking, once I give you my word, it's my word. It doesn't matter. Like, and that's where business is business. When you say, I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. I don't want to break my word. So that was the thing. So I'm crossing my fingers going, oh, God, I hope this is what I got myself into. And then I tuned in to Wolverine versus Predator, Bat in the Sun. And Tammy was like, yeah, I actually kind of like this. And I was like, that's weird. She don't really like the Comic-Con stuff, you know? And like, weird. She's a female. She likes chick flicks. And so she thought it was really cool. And then Scorpion the original Scorpion was played by my instructor, Chris Casamassa, in the movie. He played original Scorpion in the movie. Cool. So that's who I grew up with. That's who I trained with. So anyway, that came about. Did some shots for him, did the voices, and it just, you know, it skyrocketed out there. And then we did the Green Ranger one, same thing. And then we filmed the Taze Cat and Operation Black Unicorn. Now Aaron has his hands on an entity that's huge right now, and we're talking about it. It's big, and we're gonna make an announcement at New York Comic Con. I'm so proud of this guy that went from like trying to make something with 7D that was shot with the 7D.
Yeah, I saw that.
You
And
know,
that inspired me.
Yeah, it's shot with it. I mean, you should see amazing stuff that was done. His dad does all the scoring. He's got a whole team. Now he's got his hands in this huge entity that they came to them, this network, and they're, you know, the owners was like, we want you to do this, and it's going to be really good. It's going to blow people away. But that's how I got involved in it. And then, of course, when he works with people, he's like, you know, hey, I'd like, you know, Faunt to do, and, you know, maybe jump through a little hoops with networks, and, you know, didn't really have to audition, which was great because I suck at auditioning. I do the work, man. You give me the job, I'll do it. But like, I'm not used to auditions. I like work. Like at the time, auditions. Oh man,
it's a whole new
You
beast.
probably don't even know that. I'm just so I can't audition. Like I'll call them and trick them and be like, you just need to hire me. You just need to hire me, man.
Just do it.
It's just the way it is. I'm only offer only. Well, you know, but it's good. I didn't have to audition. I got it. So the Bat in the Sun. Now people recognize me and they're like, dude, you beat up Scorpion. And so he rebranded the look of the costumes, the Bat in the Sun looks. He rebranded all those costumes out there. They're all cosplaying as different stuff. They're getting every season. It's his season, different seasons, and putting the Bat in the Sun stuff. So he really changed that cosplay industry. So, and he's a humble dude.
Yeah.
He's humble, you know, and he wasn't there for the money. He just was a fan. He knows what fans love, and he's a great director. And his dad's amazing, and that's all because of him. I would not have my Morphin life. You know, I mean, I have an editor team.
Does he do all that?
Yeah, well, yeah, Rob edits, but Aaron is the one that came to my house, and we talked about a Green Ranger series, which is not dead yet with Saban. It's not dead. And we talked about that, and the guy flew to my house, and I was thinking, oh man, that's, you know, I don't know how this is going to work. Well, when the movie came, we had a green light on the Green Ranger series. Yep, it's good to go, good to go. And then the movie came. Oh, we have to put that on hold. And I was like, oh. So when Aaron came to my house, I told him I have all these episodes, like mixed files. I want to do My Morphin Life, and this is for the fans. And he gathered it all together. His dad scored it all. He did it. I had Robert as the editor. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be into the My Morphin Life. But it wasn't for me to opening my mind to him to say, I got you. I don't need to look. I just have a feeling. I got you. You know what I mean? And it was a good, when I had that feeling, I'm usually right about that. And that's what's good to work with people like that. So that's how that became. Yeah.
Very cool.
Mr. Faunt, looking at your resume, there's a lot of horror thriller movies and all your work with Power Rangers. Is that difficult switching gears, going from this to that?
No. I mean, I like to work, and the same thing like Jason was saying. It's like the first director that gave me a shot, I did a movie in Romania with him back in '98. So he does a lot of stuff. Like the last movie I just did was with Vivica A. Fox. So he does a lot of things, and he'll always bring me in. He's like, hey, again, just no auditioning. I got this role. You want to do it? And to me, it's like, I love being on set. It's like another acting class, but you're making money doing it. So that's been the same director for all those. So it's like, it's hard to say no to Dave because he's done so much. He helped get me going. So whenever he calls for these parts, I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So, but I have a lot of fun doing different genres, different things. You go for one movie, you're getting stabbed to death because you're this alcoholic, abusive husband, and the next day you're playing Leon Kennedy in Japan. So it's just, to me, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about just with acting. I think Faunt nails it down with different acting stuff. That's why I called him for the Black Unicorn to play like the leader guy that was explaining all this stuff. He just like fit perfect for that role. And that's what we're talking earlier too. Like the role I'm doing with Bat in the Sun won't even be like me at all, man. It's a total different thing. And that's what's exciting about it, because I've usually, would play Tommy my whole life, and I got another movie I'm doing about an autistic boy that becomes a local karate champion, and that's a really acting-driven movie. It's just good to kind of show the artist, the artist in you when you're on Power Rangers. Even though, man, like people think if you're messing up that kind of work, it's hard. It's not easy to be cheesy. It's really not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's really not. Like, that's an easy line. Well, you say that line. Sometimes the cheesiest things are the hardest things to do because they're not here. They're not like
forced.
Yeah, they're forced. And trust me, so when people see it, it's an easy job. Well, you try it. And then you've seen some. I've seen some seasons before. I'm like, oh my God, that's bad. Not to be mean or nothing like that, but yeah. Anyway.
Very cool. Do you guys see yourself portraying anything else besides Black Unicorn? Anything different, like anything in the works, like anything else that's just what you're normally used to coming up?
I'm gonna be doing lots of action, so it's gonna be great. I'm used to that. Lots of action, different look, different role, which is gonna be good. And like I said, that New York will make that a big announcement, and everybody will go, yeah, I see what's going on here. And then then I'd like to do the movie I'm doing. I'm playing the coach is kind of like I'm gonna say washed up great martial artist, but he got turned into like alcohol and stuff like that, and he's just like he finds his kid, and they kind of just find each other to get out of his depression, and he lost his family. It's a really that type of acting-driven movie, and the kid's struggling with everything else. He deals with mild autism, getting teased, picked on, so they just find each other. But he takes them on as more of a release thing for his AA meetings. He just takes them on like a what do you call it, like community service type of thing. And then he ends up getting really connected to this kid, and then ends up thinking, hey, maybe I can get back to my life, what my life used to be like. And they use each other to bond and to break out on the end, to break free from his, the depressions and alcoholism, and the kid breaks free from stereotypical, you have autism and being bullied to like a hero at school. So it's something that I'm really looking forward to.
That sounds awesome.
You both find a reawakening.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's gonna be good.
So we can do one more question,
Okay.
please.
Mr. Faunt, is there is there anything that you can advise us or let us know about the new Resident Evil? Because that's one of my big fanboy kind of a thing right there too. Anything about with the new storyline? Is it continuing after 6? Because we know 7's going to be a standalone in the past. Is this a continuation after 6, or is this something that's in mixed with the timeline?
Well, this is all the motion capture stuff from. This is Resident Evil 3 called Vendetta.
Okay.
So they haven't released anything for it, so I can't say much about it
Okay.
at this point. I know Capcom is pretty. They're
Hush-hush.
they're more hush hush than Saban. So, but it's really cool. They put a lot of time into it. Those video games are just billion-dollar franchises now. But they brought in a lot of great people for that, and it was very, very involved. And you'll definitely enjoy it. Did you see the first 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the 7 trailer? I'm just curious. Have you played the demo yet?
I have not.
Have you seen any trailers of it?
No, I have not actually.
It is a different feel they're going with this one, and it is something.
What's the storyline? What are they?
Basically,
Leon's not in it, right?
No, it hasn't been released. It's supposed to be
I was gonna say, 'cause
early.
I didn't do it, so if Leon's in it, I got to make some calls real quick.
Yeah.
wasn't me.
Yeah, no, it wasn't you, but no. But it's just very different. It's very first person. I think they're trying to go for the VR with it, but it's very first person, and the demo is just nothing but you trapped in a house trying to survive, not from monsters, but just from this crazy guy that's trying to hunt you. And that's it.
Really?
That's all it gives. It gives a good Silent Hill feel to it.
Yeah.
But it's Resident Evil. You can see it because there's Umbrella and all the other ties.
Yeah.
I recommend it if you could watch like a YouTube of it or something. It is something that is
A little different.
very than with the regular 6.
They got to make some changes now. They've done 6. They've got their different storylines, and 6 had the 3 different storylines you could take on. So my guess is that they're going to want to shake it up because I know that's their baby.
Oh yeah.
So they're going to keep. It's like I always say, if people are going to keep filling the seats, they're going to keep bringing it back. So it's good that they're shaking it up a bit because I can see how excited you are. And but they love their Resident Evil. Capcom loves it, so I'm sure they'll keep going with it.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Awesome, guys.
All right,
Yeah.
one quick one.
Sure.
One quick one.
Okay. All right. So you guys are already superheroes, right?
Yeah.
So in the current era of superheroes, if you could be any character, who would you want to be? That you haven't already been.
I don't know. The Green Ranger from Power Rangers is pretty. would be not a bad gig. Does that count?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you want me to go outside of the Ranger universe, I don't know. I mean, I always grew up a huge Superman fan, so I always kind of, my 6-year-old backflips on that as well. So I got to think the Superman franchise would be a lot of fun to be part of.
Very cool.
I'm gearing to what I'm doing right now, which will be announced in New York. I'm so into
I was going
my
to say you probably
character.
already have an answer, but you can't
So
give us-
used to my character. I'm like, I love it. Every book, everything, storylines. I'm reading it all and building an awesome character, and I'm kind of more in love with that character than the Green Ranger at this point. But not like in love like that. But as far as stepping outside the box, it feels good for me, to do that.
You're gonna like this.
Yeah.
You're gonna like this a lot.
Very cool.
Awesome. It's exciting.
Cool.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you all.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
You?
Appreciate it, guys.